Out chasing Tailor in Perth. Beautiful cold spring morning. The tide was dropping, there was a little bit of swell and there was a slight easterly. So it was pretty good conditions. I'm using my Shimano Hardrocker 8'3". It's got an 8 to 32 cast weight, so it's really good for using those 20 to 30 gram stick baits. You can absolutely cast a mile with it, particularly because I've paired it with a 3000 reel with 10 pound DAIWA Expedition braid, which is a really nice thin braid which you can cast an absolute mile. I'm starting off with the CID Sprat redhead. This is a 30 gram lure. There's a lot of seaweed around, so I've taken off the end of treble, and I like this lure in seaweed conditions because it's only got one hook point. So I've got a 3/0 single hook with the hook tip faced up to the sky, and I'm just ripping it across the top of reef and hoping to pull any tailor over the weed, because there's a lot of weed right where the waves are dumping. So we'll see how we go. So nice hook up here. So I'm trying to move to my left to pull the fish away from the reef. Lost him this time. Well, the best time to catch another fish is right after you've lost the fish. Particularly with Tailor, they're a schooling fish. So I want to get that lure out in the similar spot as soon as I can. So with these lures, I'm pretty much just doing a straight medium retrieve, trying to keep the lure not sinking too much at this point. Other times I'll let it sink a lot and then rip it in, but because there's so much seaweed, I want to keep the line above the water when I can. There's a bloody seal chasing the tailor, so I was trying to rip him in as quick as I could. So I've made a little bit of a mistake here. I've got the line just a tad low. So I've got a little bit of seaweed caught up on the end of the fish. Not too bad though, should be able to pull it in if I just walk backwards with the waves. So here, I walk forwards. As the wash comes in, I'll walk backwards. Perfect. Got a good nice FG knot as well, which helps when you're trying to retrieve fish from the weed. Nice chunk to start the day. It wasn't long until I was on to another one. So here I'm trying, as you can see, I'm trying to keep my rod up a little bit higher so I can pull it over the top. As long as your line's out of the water and the lure's right up the top and you're dragging the fish in, you're going to avoid the weed, but you also run the risk of the fish breaching and shaking out your lure. Just like this. But in these conditions you're going to lose fish. You just got to try and work out the best way to get them in around the seaweed. Another one here, so I'm moving down the beach to pull away from the reef. You can see there's a big patch of seaweed right in front of me there, so I'm going to try and move back to my right slightly. It breached once and then I made the mistake here. You can see that I've got my rod pretty much horizontal to the water, so weed is just rolling over the top of the line. And it's about to create an absolute mess. So just a habit of seeing a fish breach, I'll often put my rod down low to try and keep it under. But here I've made a mistake. It's absolutely covered in weed. I've only got 10-pound braid as well. I probably should have used a heavier setup today. Snap, there goes the line. I could see the little red rocket lure flaying in the seaweed, so I knew it was in there. I could see it just in front of me there, then I was just moving through the seaweed, so I was trying to sift it through with my feet and kick it forward to where I had a good chance of grabbing it. I really was more interested in retrieving my lure than the fish, to be honest. I only bought it the day before this session. After flying around a little bit, I saw it there. So lucky. So bloody lucky. I was celebrating hard. What the? It was a really good quality fish for the spring as well. I tied back on a uni knot this time just because I couldn't be bothered doing an FG knot down on the beach. But the FG knot actually didn't snap, it was the line, so it shows you that, you know, a good knot can withstand that. Either way, the weed was getting worse and worse, so I changed things up and chucked on a CID Shiverstick 21 gram. So here I'm just taking off the trebles and putting on a single 2.0 on the back. My thought was that I could cast it out and put my rod tip really high, as you can see here, and just slowly wind it over the top of everything. And with it being a lighter lure, only 21 grams, it would be harder for the fish to shake out when they breach. I think the main sort of message here is to make sure you have a couple of singles in your tackle bag. They really only take about a minute to change, and it goes from a completely unfishable session where you keep on losing lures to having a difficult but fun session. So you can see here I've got the rod a lot higher. I'm just trying to muscle it in over the top of everything. So I can see the fish out the back here jumping a few times, but I've just got to roll with it. I did lose a couple of fish after this one as well, just doing the same thing, but it was better that than losing lures in the weed. If I was using my 5000 setup, I'd probably just, you know, skull drag them in a little bit easier. But with the 3000 and the 10-pound braid, these fish weren't huge, but just with the waves crashing, it was a little bit more challenging. But I actually found it a lot of fun, to be honest. Another nice Tailor. Good fun on the surface as well when you see it smash it. Either way, 3 beautiful fish and some tasty bergs.